I'm sitting in the sunny but cool and slightly windy Australian capital city of Canberra with a 2B Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencil on 210 GSM drawing cartridge, drawing one end of Australia's National Library. And the sun is coming down quite low from the right hand side. You can see by the shadows on those monoliths. I think our picture will sit there for most of the video. And so it is very glary. I've actually increased the brightness and sharpness of that photo. It was more hazy and less contrast in life. But my travelling party were in the National Portrait Gallery to the left, and so here I was, not able to roam too far away. So this was the view, but I thought with Black Mountain behind and the television tower behind that and the monoliths in front, that it was an interesting scene to try and capture just quickly with a fairly brisk, fairly hatching gestural style. So, as you know, I haven't done much location sketching for a bit, but I seem to have worked out some of my issues with videoing. Sorry about the shadow from the tripod leg in front of me. I'm looking up over the camera when I look up. So this was quite a good way of setting it up, except for the location of the sun. So I'm trying to just get the proportions of the National Gallery and these trees, these autumn trees, that because the sun's coming basically from behind them, and because of the relatively light leaf colour as the trees start to drop their leaves here, it does create this halo effect, which I was hoping to capture something of. Got a little bit lost in trying to work out exactly what was happening with the roof. As you can see, I'm drawing as much by negative space. I'm drawing the dark areas, the shadows, as much as I'm drawing the positive areas. And then trying to work out what's happening behind the trees, where it just obscures enough detail to make it straightforward. So, and then I suddenly realised, well, if the trees are obscuring enough detail that I'm working hard to work out exactly what's there, I should stop trying to work out exactly what's there and just capture the effect. All I need to do really is to make sure that the proportions are correct, that the building ends are the right distance apart for the height, but otherwise I'm thinking too much about the detail. And I managed to draw the top of the roof line, not very parallel. To avoid that shadow, I was actually sitting at 45 degrees to my view, so I don't know if I can blame that for any any problems with the drawing. And I guess because the ground is not parallel to the roof line, although I've exaggerated the slope with a careless first line. Never mind. I'm drawing small. I'm on an A5 sheet of paper, and I'm starting up high because I did want to draw the foreground, come down with the foreground. I had a few issues with that we'll see. But of course I'll put this reference on my channel community page if you'd like to have a go as well. I was having to squint a lot, so trying to establish a line for Black Mountain. And I've decided to do the mountain a bit darker than it looks in life, although it was darker in life than in this. And remember, this photo is tweaked to make the building a little clearer to see. there was a lot of that hot sun haze shadow shade on the front of the building, which is actually the end of the building. So we're looking at one end of the National Library, and it's built to the same, I think, size and proportion, certainly proportions, of the Parthenon. The number of columns across and down is the same, and the spacing is the same. Although I think I'd rather be on the Acropolis drawing the Parthenon if I had the choice. That's a place I really hope I get to at some stage. So you're watching this at 1 3/4 speed. So if you use the cog icon to slow it down to half speed, you'll be watching it slightly slower than my drawing speed. So I've got basically the library done and enough of the trees at least positioned. And so now I'm doing these monoliths. So I deliberately start them just slightly lower. I felt that it just would feel better to have a little more what I think of as breathing space between the top of these stones and the National Library. Not too much, but just a little bit more than the very thin gap that this position gave me. So I want darker values here, and I want some harder edges than we've had with the library in the background to help give a sense of closeness. Because the actual size of them is uncertain in terms of the library. That they could be large, they could be small. So we want to give a few more clues that they're closer and therefore that they're large. I wasn't really planning to draw in pencil, but I threw these pencils in at the last minute, and the one thing I didn't throw in was anything to sharpen them with. I didn't bring my sharpening blade, so I had to make do with what we had. It was about 10 degrees, I think, 10, 11 degrees, so the sun was nice, but the breeze and the chill factor was, for an Australian, quite significant. I imagine many of you watching this would think, oh, I'd love it to be 10 degrees right now. But Australia's capital is known for its crisp autumn days. And we were here for one of them. The one place where I particularly came to grief with this drawing, and it's easier to do in life than it is to do drawing, is I began to bring these objects now too far down. And then when I drew the outline for the, concrete platform that it sits on, I didn't get the angle right because I brought the largest monolith too low down and the shadow too far forward, and because I wanted to have all of that on the concrete apron that it sits on, I had to bring that near horizontal line separating the concrete from the grass at a much lower angle. What I should have done is brought it across at a sharper angle and let the shadow go on the grass. Now I put some of the concrete join lines in to give a sense of the perspective and a sense of this coming closer towards us. So I've really established this scene by using value rather than line. There's a lot more just playing around establishing light and dark values than doing outlines, which, because of the haze, because of that glaring sun, heat and light haze, seemed a much more accurate way of capturing the feel of the place. Certainly for all of the background, it was only in these closer objects where edge began to be a significant factor in terms of the visual effect. So it reinforces a lot of what I say, except with pencil rather than pen, that capturing the effect is often a very effective way of drawing to get a sense of something. So just doing a little bit to the side to provide some framing so that we contain our image visually. And now that I know I do something terrible shortly, but I'm not doing it just yet. At this point I'm adding the lines. I almost turned the page. I sort of forgot that I was filming, and it's better to try and keep it in one place. So trying to have these lines conform to the perspective angles of the overall structure. The direction of our lines can have a huge impact on the overall look, both simply the effectiveness that we draw with, but also the ability to discern different objects for the overall clarity of what's happening. Now, this is where I really bomb out. I start to do some grass, and the thing is, I'm so far away from all of this, and I think there is a sense of this being some distance away, that I shouldn't have drawn any grass. A few literally dots would have been appropriate, but there's no way I can do any grass. I've actually, when I was looking at this later, erased the dots, the grass, because it just made a lot more sense. It reads wrong. I don't know if you can tell, but I hope you can tell that the grass somehow doesn't go how I've represented the grass. It looks too close for what else we're seeing. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Well, look, this was fun. It was nice to sit outside in the sun and just to tackle this. It was fun to use pencil to revisit the joys of graphite again. So if you'd like to have a go drawing this yourself, you probably can't do it on location, but I'll post this photo on my channel community page. So why not give it a go? But look, whatever you end up drawing, and whether it's on location or from a photo, with pencil or with pen, make sure you have fun. I certainly did. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Please hit the like button if you did. I'll see you next time. Bye.